Hey guys, today has been kind of a hectic day, so I'm really hoping I'm able to make this video without all kinds of things breaking down. Right now, I have all 3 kids down, and I'm hoping I can at least make a video while they're calm and quiet. Anyway, I felt kind of rushed because it's just been one of those days, and sorry, I feel like kind of crazy brained right now because I was like rushing to get this ready to like make a video, and so I'm sorry that I'm doing my like calm down in real time. Anyway, I struggle sometimes because there are certain things I want to do in my videos where I really need to be like look at my phone, and right now I use my phone to film. So I have a MacBook and it's old. Half the time it will only work if it's plugged into a charger. So anyway, I was rushing to try to get it pulled up. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video is what I've been reading, because somebody asked if I would kind of update like what I've been reading, watching, and like music I'm listening to. Well, I have the Goodreads app on my phone. I tried to log into my account on my computer. I don't know my login information, and it was acting like it wasn't associated with any of my email addresses. And I had everything set up already. And then I just had to get my phone back and take pictures of my Goodreads account and send the pictures to myself so I can look at it. Anyway. But I did it, and I'm here. And my hair is so crazy. Or sometimes I've been trying to pinpoint all day, why is today feeling so hard? And I don't know. It's just been one of those days where everything is just kind of like slightly askew. And so I've been a little bit like off my game. But one thing I was going to try to do is write some of these things down in pencil, because several people have asked for that or like the sound of writing in pencil. And the last time I did a grocery list video where I was writing in pencil, the sound wasn't great. So I'm going to try it again today and see if I get close enough, if you can hear the sounds better. So a couple authors that I've been reading, like I've been like binge reading them, because here's the main reason. I have found that I may have already mentioned this, but if I'm really interested in an audiobook, then like the mundane, menial tasks of my day, I'm kind of like excited about it, because I can just put my my husband has AirPods that he has loaned to me because he realized that it would be nice. And so I will put my AirPods in, turn on my audiobook, and then do the dishes, fold the clothes, clean the house during nap time. And I'm kind of like into it because I've got a good book. So that's just a little piece of advice for anybody out there who just like has to do this like menial work, seemingly menial work. It becomes more interesting when you're reading. Sometimes I listen to podcasts. I really love the Risen Motherhood podcast, so I guess I'll put that on here because for any moms out there, this podcast, Risen Motherhood, has been so encouraging to me. It talks about like all kinds of just topics in motherhood, but it like ties it to like through like a gospel lens. So I don't know, it just makes it helps me reflect and like change my perspective sometimes on just like the ordinary stuff I do every day, like looking at it with like heavenly eyes, like eternal eyes, and thinking of like the global impact, even just through my children, that I can have. So that's really encouraging. So I know that's not a book, but because I mentioned the AirPods, it reminded me that sometimes I listen to that. And sometimes I listen to my Bible reading because I'm trying to read through this, the Bible this year. And so I most of the time I physically read it with my eyes, but sometimes I will listen to it if I'm not doing anything that's too distracting, you know, to where like I don't zone out, but I'm listening. So those are two things I listen to. And then these books that I've been listening to, I've kind of fixated on two authors that I have read in the past, but have just kind of like rediscovered. I guess maybe they had published more books recently that I found. So one of those is Lisa Jewell. Lisa Jewell, I have read a lot, like quite a bit of her stuff like in the past, and I think maybe I had caught up on a lot of it or something, and so I just like discarded her from my brain. And then when I rediscovered her, there were lots of books by her that I had not yet read. So two of them specifically that I'm going to mention here as audiobooks is The Family Upstairs. The main reason I'm mentioning this first is because I think there are at least 3, maybe 4 readers of this book on the audiobook. And I love that because it is 3 or 4 different people's perspectives throughout the book. And so because it's different people reading those perspectives, it's just so much easier to keep track of everything because you learn the voice. And they were all just like phenomenal readers. Like sometimes you'll get an audiobook and you'll be like I've done this. I'm like, I can't stand this person's voice, so I'm not going to be able to do this book. But this one, in my opinion, was so well done. The Family Upstairs, Lisa Jewell is a British author, so of course it's read in British accents, which I love. It already like makes it 10 times more interesting to me if it's like British accents. Then, and this is like suspenseful mystery, you don't exactly know what happened all through the book, and it's all like tied together in these crazy ways. It was so good. And Lisa Jewell, to my knowledge, has never written a sequel, but I guess she said, my mom was telling me she read somewhere that she wrote The Family Upstairs and then moved on to like other books, and then she kind of kept coming back to The Family Upstairs in her mind, and she felt like she wasn't quite done with that story. So The Family Upstairs is the first one, and The Family Remains is the sequel. And you know, sometimes sequels are like, eh. Sometimes I was even nervous to read this sequel because I didn't want it to mess with the story for me, because I really liked the first one, but I read it, I listened to it, and it was so good. Still so good. So those were two of my favorites that I have listened to this year. So if you don't like audiobooks, I would still suggest these to read if you like that genre, that kind of like suspense, mystery, twists, things tying together. They're really good. Let me see, before I move on to the next author, because I know that I've read several things by this other author, but the other one by Lisa Jewell that I've read recently is called None of This Is True. And I didn't listen to this one, I actually read this one. And I will say, at the beginning, something seemed like it was happening. I'm not going to get specific. And I texted my sisters and my mom because we often overlap reading some of the same stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm reading None of This Is True. Has anybody read this? Because I feel like X, Y, and Z is happening. And if that's true, I don't think I can read this. So can somebody tell me if what I'm thinking is actually happening? And my sister texted back and was like, I've read it. I know what you're talking about. And there's not going to be anything explicit. And also, just keep reminding yourself of the title of the book. None of This Is True. And I was like, okay. It was really good. And it was like one of those page turners. Like, a lot of hers are like that. Crazy twists and turns. That was a good one. Okay, and then the other author that I've been listening to and also reading, like hard copies, is Shari Lapena. And I think Shari, it's S-H-A-R-I. So Shari Lapena, Lapena. She's also an awesome author of this genre. I had read some stuff by her, at least one thing by her in the past, years ago. But then at my book club Christmas party this year, we bring books and an ornament that goes with that book. I don't know if I've talked about that before, but we bring a book. It can be something that you have read, or it can be something that you just liked the description, and you bring anyway. So I ended up with one of her books, and what we do is, like, when somebody opens their present, they'll show the ornament and show the book, and they read the description of the book. So essentially we play Dirty Santa, like, with that. So, like, if it's my turn and somebody has opened one that sounded really good to me, I can go steal that, just like Dirty Santa. So I ended up with a book of hers called Everyone Here is Lying. Everyone Here is Lying. And it was really good. Page Turner. I read that one. And it was really good. I've loaned it to my mom since then, and then I just gave it to my sister this past weekend to read. And it was really good. Okay. Then I listened to, by her, I listened to Not a Happy Family. And that one was also really good. So yeah, that was one that I listened to. Really recently. It had several different perspectives. It was so crazy. Just the different twists and turns in that one. I really liked it. And then another one by her. Did I listen to this one? Let me think. I don't know. I think I did. It's called A Stranger in the House. Yeah, I did. I listened to this one. A Stranger in the House. Also so good. Then the other one that I'm listening to right now is called The End of Her. Out of the ones that I've just mentioned, this one is my least favorite. But I'm at the very end right now, and some crazy stuff is happening. But all throughout the book, I was just kind of like, this is really slow, da-da-da. Now that I'm at the end, things are picking up. So it's not my favorite by her. I feel like she has some that are obviously a lot more interesting. But The End of Her is it's okay. I'll put these titles in the description box also so that you guys know. Another one that I've read this year that I actually read that I really liked. It's not the same genre. I think it was the first book that I read this year. It's by Kate Thompson. She has other stuff, but I have not yet read her other stuff. This one is called The Little Wartime Library. So good. It's a World War II historical fiction novel. And there were a lot of things in it that I did not know about. It's based in London, and like they had a library in the underground because a lot of people were displaced and ended up having to live in the underground, like the tube station. So they shut off like a couple of stops, I guess, on the tube. And people lived down there and had just kind of their lives down there because their homes had been bombed and different stuff. And so it's about these girls who are running this little library. It was so good. I really enjoyed that one. I love historical fiction. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it. So if you do, I recommend this book. There were also just some events, big events that happened that I didn't know about, like historically. Anyway, so it was really interesting. Okay. Oh, I was going to tell you about a few shows real quick. On Apple TV, and this one isn't as of my release date of this video. This show still has one more episode to be released, I think Friday. It's called Masters of the Air. And it is about World War II fighter pilots. And it's really good. My husband and I have been watching that together, and we really like it. I don't know if any of you saw the Elvis movie that was released recently. What's the guy's name who played Austin? I think it's Austin Butler is the name of the actor who played Elvis. Anyway, I had never seen him in anything. I did not watch Elvis before this show, so this was the first thing that I was seeing him in, and I really like him as an actor. So my husband and I ended up going and watching the Elvis movie last week, or it took us a while. Anytime we start a movie, it takes us a while to get through it, but sometimes I'm hesitant to watch like biopics because they make me sad. Especially when it has to do with like famous musicians and singers. I feel like most of them end badly. And so it makes me sad. All the drug abuse and alcoholism and just different stuff. Anyway, so that's why it took me so long to watch the Elvis movie. But I wanted to watch it because I liked this actor. And it was really well done, but it was really sad. It was really sad. But we enjoyed that too. Then what else? We haven't been like watching a ton of TV. I don't know if any of you have ever watched The Chosen. It is so good. I think they're releasing the 4th season soon. It's about Jesus and his disciples, and of course they take a ton of liberties, and like, you know, some of the stuff that happens is not like stuff in the Bible, but it is one of the most well done like Christian things I've ever seen. Because, you know, a lot of Christian movies and shows, like, not to diss them because I do like supporting them, but a lot of times they have bad acting and it's kind of like really cheesy. And if any of you have ever seen that, you know what I'm talking about. Not that they're not good, because a lot of them are still good, but The Chosen is one of the like most well made of like Christian that I've ever seen. And it just gives you like a better perspective. Like, I'm not from the East. I'm not from an Eastern culture. So like seeing just like those customs and stuff happening, like, and just what life was like then. Like, gives me a better perspective when I'm reading my Bible of like what was actually going on. And it just helps me, like, I don't know, I just have really enjoyed it. It's been really spiritually uplifting for me to watch. So I've been watching the 3rd season. My husband and I are in different places, so I've been watching it without him, but it's really good. And it's caused me to look at my Bible for stuff, because like some of it, I'm like, what's this going on? Like, what's this happening? And so I'll like look it up. I don't know, it's just really good. So that is another thing I would recommend. Okay. I'll just also mention that I'm doing an Ephesians Bible study right now. Oops, I'm kind of shaking the camera. And it's like for the group that I'm in, but we're studying that book, so I've been reading it over and over and over and memorizing scripture from it. Really good, really encouraging. And that's kind of what I'm reading right now. So yeah, I just wanted to share, make this video. I recently made a Patreon. I have that below. I release my videos a day early on that platform. There are no ads. And then I'll put my Buy Me a Coffee link down there, because someone recommended that I start that, so I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. I hope everybody's doing really well, and I will see you very soon.